Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited. I finally received my package from Shellwe Makeup. If you are not new to my channel, I had purchased this product probably a couple weeks ago, like right when it first came out. Unfortunately though, with the US, there's been some issues with crazy tariffs. So it had got sent back, it arrived here to customs, got sent back, and they had to resend it out. And I'm so happy that it finally made it here. Let's just go ahead and just talk through some details. It did come in a box, all nice and bubble wrapped. I did toss that part, so sorry, but it did come very nicely. It also comes in a box like this, so it is specific to the palette box. So cardboard box, open, cute little message from the brand. And then even inside the box, they have it super secure. So you remove a piece of foam. Your palette is also encased in a piece of foam, so that's super nice. And then the palette itself is here. It does have a sleeve case. On the back here, I'm guessing they have some facts about all of the shades. Shellwe Makeup is a Chinese brand, and I believe this is Mandarin. I did just do a little quick Google search and was unable to find any information, unfortunately, about that. Let's get into the actual palette. So this is a cruelty-free brand. It is saying that this palette will last for 12 months. You pull off your lid. So the lid does come completely separated. And then you have a cute little protective sheet that says their brand. And then you have the palette itself. Super gorgeous. Let's go ahead and talk through pricing. And then also if you are able to order this or not. So pricing from their own site is $29. I did also pull it up on C Beauty Mall, retailing for $31.29 USD, and then you can also pick it up on Look Healthy store for $30.99 USD. To go along with that, so on their Instagram, Shellwe Makeup did post that they're currently not shipping to the US. Makes complete sense. I think it's 145% or something tariffs right now, some ridiculous crazy amount. As far as I can see, Look Healthy store and C Beauty Mall have not posted anything on their Instagram. I've not been able to find anything on their site stating that they are not going to be shipping to the US, so that is definitely nice that you are able to pick it up. Don't completely quote me, but hopefully there is that variety if you do want to pick it up. I will have all the links down in the description if you want to just try and see if it'll work. Also, if you are in a different country, then you can just order it from their regular site. What I thought would be fun to go ahead and see is it does look like this palette is magnetic. You do have the little pop outs here. I have a little magnet tool here, so I just thought it'd be fun just to see how well they come out. That's always something for myself whenever I use different brands. Not that I necessarily move around my shadows, but I just like to see how easy do the pans pop out. So far, hopefully you can see nothing is really popping out. I don't think it's a massive issue to me, especially because they have a little thing on the side that you can just pop out. So I'm just gonna take a little tweezer here and just see. So it does pop out extremely easy. And then it's just a basic pan, no name or anything. I'm pretty sure these shades don't have any names. Real quick, I wanted to talk about some details that they have available on their site, at least I found on C Beauty Mall. So the Shellwe Makeup Misty Spirit Eyeshadow Palette is inspired by the mystical, otherworldly beauty of a witch's final chapter. Featuring 10 cool tones, all matte shades, this palette delivers a unique cold white glow that enhances fair and olive skin tones. With 2 multi-use cream shades, including a metallic blood red, this palette is perfect for creating ethereal, avant-garde looks that radiate a hauntingly beautiful vibe. So freaking cool. Last but not least, before we jump into the 2 looks, I wanted to just show you, I did do some swatches on my hand, and these shades swatch so beautifully. Just in case you are curious, I will go ahead and probably just do one swatch with you live, just so you can see. These are so buttery, so I'm just taking my finger, rubbing it in. The powders they state are a wet kind of powder, which I don't necessarily feel they feel necessarily wet per se, but they swatch. I mean, you can see they swatch so good. They feel so so freaking buttery and they blend out so good. I think that is all that I want to talk about for this portion. Let's go ahead and jump into our 2 looks. For look number 1, I'm just going to start off with this deepest cream shade. I'm just starting with a flat kind of stubby brush, and I'm going to start working this mainly on this. So I always kind of stop here where my color part of my eye is, kind of create a line. It's gonna pull this out. All I have on my eye so far is a little bit of foundation as a primer, and then I did just highlight my brow bone a little bit with some white shadow. With the same shade, I'm gonna run some underneath my lower lash line, trying to keep it really tight against the lash line. I'm kind of stopping a little bit earlier than I normally would, just because we are going to be blending this out because it is a cream product. Alright, I feel good about that shape. So I'm just going to switch over to kind of a more blendy brush, and I'm going to start underneath the lashes. So this brush is like flat but fluffy, so we are able to get under the lash line really easy. It's going to pull the product up, and I'm really kind of just stamping as well to help to soften the transition. So I feel like that's pretty blended out. I'm going to take an even bigger fluffy brush just to go over any of the edges, just to make sure that we are super blended out. After that, I'm going to go ahead and take just this super it's like a thin but really fluffy brush. I love this one so much. And I'm going to dip in with this kind of like orange rusty shade. Starting along the lower lash line, I'm just going to add some in there. I'm just going to be taking this pretty much all around everything that we've already applied. Back in with that big fluffy brush to go over everything. Make sure we're staying really soft and blended. To add in some depth, I'm going to go in with this shade. I really don't know if this is like a gray, purple. These are some of the colors that as a colorblind person I struggle with the most, but whatever the shade is, we're going to go ahead and dip in with that. I'm going to go ahead and take another one of these like longer pencil type brushes, and I'm gonna apply it kind of where we did originally with our cream shade. So at that colored part of the eye, kind of pulling it out, and then taking some underneath the lash line. I'm not going to take it all the way like I did originally. I am just going to stop again where my colored part of my eye starts. And you can kind of just play around to see where you like this to lay. Back with that small fluffy brush, just soften the transition. And then as you see on the other side, I did go in with a shimmer. This palette unfortunately does not have any shimmer shade. I did originally, I forgot, so let's do that a little bit. I did actually take this shade here, this other cream shade, and I did use this as kind of like a base on my lid. I thought it was going to be lighter, but you can see it's like super pigmented. So I want to make sure we still have that on our lid. I'm going to go and take our brush that we used for that cream shade just to kind of stamp it in. So this definitely creates kind of this really easy smoky look. If you want, it's just like transition that so quickly. I kind of want a bit of like a brighter eye though, so I'm actually taking from Beauty Moon Cosmetics. I just checked on their site, they do have a couple more of these left. It's in collaboration with Piglet GC. I'm using the Worship highlighter. These are seriously so good. I hope that they bring these back or like a super similar like version. Like I hope you can just see how like reflective that is. I'm just taking it just with my finger and I'm just pressing, and it creates such a beautiful like shift. I'm gonna go ahead and just take a brush, pick up a little bit of the product just to bring it in to the front and kind of help it to soften a bit more. I do tend to like to blend my shimmers out more so it's a bit more seamless. Pick up a bit more to apply just on that inner corner, and that's pretty much it. I think this turned out absolutely gorgeous. Let's go ahead and move on to our next look. For look 2, I want to do an all matte look, just basically using only the shadows that are in here. So I'm going to go ahead and first start off with the darkest matte shade here. I'm going to go ahead and just take kind of this like pencil-y type brush. Kind of same as I did yesterday. I'm going to start where that color part of our eye is and just tap it on. I'm going to be taking the shade decently far out, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out a bit of a wing and then kind of just fill this shape in. As you see, the shadow is like super pigmented. Next, with just an angled brush, I'm going to go ahead and take more of that shade, and I'm going to run this pretty much all the way underneath. I'm mainly going to focus on tapping. These are definitely very pigmented. You can get some fallout, so I would just be kind of careful. If you want this like full pigmentation though, that is how you're gonna, I think, achieve that, is like really dipping in. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take just a slightly smaller fluffy brush, and I'm gonna focus on this gray shade here. Basically, how I'm simply kind of doing it is separating my eye in thirds. So I'm gonna take this shade all the way, like covering that like colored part of our eye, and just stamping it on. Use a little wiggle to get them to blend together. And then I'm just going to take it all around the shape. For the bottom, because I don't want it to be too blown out, I'm just going to take kind of a small flat brush, a little bit more of that shade, and I'm just going to smudge it along this shade. Dipping in with the lightest gray shade, I'm just taking a big fluffy brush. I'm going to start off stamping this into the inner part of the eye. Do a little wiggle and blend. And we're just going to be taking this shade all around the shape. I'm going to be kind of careful along the bottom lash line because I don't want it to be like too buffed out. Here's our completed look, and honestly, I love this. I think that looks so cool. I love just, it's like really simple. I love the lip. Just to throw in, I did actually use the cream products as lips. I did these yesterday, and I really, really like it. So I did take this shade here. It does seem like it has a bit of like a metallic finish to it, which I did not expect. So I did put a layer of that first. It was a little too metallic for my liking, so I did go in with another layer of this on top. And I think this looks so freaking good. I will say these last super well. Again, I don't necessarily think they're meant for the lips, but they do work really good. All right, here we are. Final thoughts. I know I kind of gave you a little bit in the intro. If you can't already tell, I really, really, really love this palette. It is seriously so good. I love the cream shades too. I have been using them on the lips. It doesn't seem like they say that, you know, they're meant for the lips. I don't think they are. You can also use them eyeshadow, as you saw I did do in the first look, but I think that they are just absolutely nice. This is such a good palette. Price point, really good. Packaging, so good. Like the raised, I mean, literally, no questions asked. Shellwe Makeup, I will more than likely be picking up all of your future future launches, because I think they are just so good. I'm loving it so much. As my first introduction to playing with C Beauty, I am in love. This is so good. If you are curious about C Beauty and you have the opportunity to pick them up, I would. I think this is such a stunning palette. I think that is going to be it for me today. I do hope that you did enjoy this video. Definitely let me know your thoughts down below. Are you going to be picking up this palette? I hope you have a great rest of your day. Subscribe if you want to join me, and I will see you in my next one. Okay, bye.